I'm going to talk about, yes, the Taskman report. So you'll be able to see an automatic report that can be printed and emailed to laboratory personnel. Then I'll show you how to easily mark a maintenance schedule that has been completed, and to create a report from that. I've just got another question here. Okay, thanks for confirming that, Bruno. Okay, and then we'll look at the electronic notice board that we have done to create a custom script that uses the laboratory maintenance module to provide an electronic notice board. So CCLAS is obviously part of the intelligent mining solution software suite. So as part of this software, obviously CCLAS falls into this realm. It's our LIMS system for mining and metals. Mindscape is our geology modeling software for coal and metal ferrous deposits. MindMarket uses our enterprise is our enterprise solution for inventory, logistics, and marketing, and production accounting is our accounting system for mining and mineral processing. CCLAS has been around in the industry for many years, 30+ years. We've got 350 sites across the world, 75 countries, and 6,000 plus users. So we don't show you these figures and statistics to impress you, but it's really just to impress upon you the importance of selecting a LIMS provider you can trust and someone that will be around here for the long term. And many of our long-term customers, or some of our long-term customers, are listed here. Some of you may recognize those brands or be a part of those brands already. So in terms of benefits, why install a LIMS system and have a LIMS system? The whole idea of a LIMS system is basically to save time in your day-to-day operations in your laboratory. So this graph here illustrates our customers' experience from all around the world on several commodities. So the orange represents those items if you were doing them manually or via spreadsheeting, and the blue items is if you are using CCLAS. So in terms of savings, we look at about a 25% saving here using job registration, 40% on data entry, 43% on validation, 48% on reporting, and 55% on invoicing. So essentially, the more time you save in your day-to-day laboratory operations is the faster that you're going to process those samples correctly. And the more samples you can process, obviously, the higher your productivity will be. And obviously that leads to higher revenue and lower costs as well. Okay, so we'll get into the demo now. So just bear with me while I turn this off and swap the screens over. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see the CCLAS screen now. So what we're going to look at first is the standard laboratory maintenance module. So if we were to configure some common activities in a laboratory, so we can see here that we've grouped some common things. So if you're doing fire assay daily, you might want to have a look at your fire assay pots and discard those ones that aren't required anymore. You might want to track when your instrument servicing is required. Also, as a note here too, you can actually attach, if you wanted to attach the history of your maintenance schedule for your instrument, you can attach that as a file here. And in terms of, say, if you're, production laboratories, every shift you might want to look at checking crucibles, running an XRF monitor, and then weekly, checking cleaning fume cupboards, toilets, and scrubbers as well. So what I'm going to do as an example here, I'm going to create a new lab maintenance schedule. We're going to call it gases. Obviously, you need to regularly check gases in your laboratory so you're not running out of those. So now I can create a maintenance code, and I might say check argon gas. So if you're running an ICP, you'll have some argon gas cylinders there that you'll need to check regularly. So in the description, I'll say check argon gas cylinders. Now I can assign that to a person. It's not mandatory, but if you do want to assign a specific maintenance activity to a person, you can do that. Then you can assign it to an instrument. So here I'm going to just assign it to an ICP. Again, it's not required. So then we want to schedule that. So say I want to schedule it at the start of every shift. So say the shift starts at 6 a.m. We can change that to 6 a.m. and we want to do that instead of the start of a shift, we might want to do it just once a day. Okay, so obviously you can see here you can do it every certain hours, so you can repeat every 12 hours if you wanted to do it per shift, week, month, or end of month. Okay, so once we click on save, we now have that maintenance activity there. Okay, so then I will show you now that as part of the Velox model, we have a script in here that creates a maintenance report. So we've got this set to run once a day at 6 a.m. in the morning. When we click on test here, it will then create a PDF report. And this one here. And if I expand that and just make that a little bit larger for you, you can see here, these are showing the reports that are, or the maintenance activities that are actually due today. And if they were overdue, there would be some time period here. Okay. So once and that report can also be emailed out to laboratory users as well if you prefer that, but and it can also be printed automatically to your printer, so someone can just pick up that report and look at those items that are required to be completed. Now, once you've gone in and completed some of those maintenance activities, we've created another interface here that allows you to easily mark them off. So you can see here the one that I added for checking the argon gas. Obviously, it hasn't been completed at all because it's a brand new one, but we've said that it was due at 6 a.m. this morning, and that's why it's marked in that reddish color. And all those other items in the bluish color are due at a later date. So if I say that I completed this morning, it's simply a matter of me just double clicking on that row there. That will mark that it's completed and update that row. I click on update and you can see now that that's next due for tomorrow at 6 a.m. So you can also actually create an Excel report here of those current items that are due or potentially overdue. And so, if you want to, send that out to someone, you can manually do that as well. Now, what happens when we do run a maintenance activity? CCLAS actually records when that is done. So there's essentially an audit trail here that shows when it was completed, who completed it, and what that maintenance code and type was. Okay. And from here, you can also create some report. So if I wanted to have a look at some of the items here that were completed for shift, I can click on report, and then there's a whole bunch of standardized reports here, but something that might be of use, you can click here and view when some of these items under shift were completed. And if I was to select this base menu, it would look at all of them. So there's different reports that you can run if you want to do the whole lot, or different schedules. Okay, so then I wanted to then show you an extension of the laboratory maintenance module that we did. And if I go back to the CCLAS menu, if you're using the Explorer menu, for those of you that are up to the latest versions of CCLAS, you'll be aware of the Explorer menu and things that you can put inside this menu. So what we've done here is a lot of laboratories, and I'm talking about production laboratories and even commercial laboratories, will generally have a handover book whereby when they're moving over from one shift to another, you record items that are issue or need to be done during that shift or need to be completed. So what we've done here is we've created essentially an electronic notice board that allows you to add messages and record them. So, for example, I might say that I ran the XRF monitor, and when I click on add, it will then create a date and time. And you can see here you can review all the other laboratory or messages that people have left on this notice board. Now, if we have a look in the back end, they're actually installed in under this lab notices or notices maintenance code. And if we have a look at the history, you can see a history of all the different lab notices that were completed. Okay, so going back to, just bear with me. I'll just swap this around. Okay, so that brings an end to the presentation. So if you're a current customer and you have some questions about the laboratory maintenance module, please send an email through to support.cclass@dataminesoftware.com. Or if you are interested in implementing a LIMS for your laboratory and you would like to see a demo of our Velox motor, please send an email through to sales@dataminesoftware.com. So we only have one more webinar left in this series of presentations, and Dave Armstrong will be presenting a webinar about tracking instrument calibrations next Thursday. So then after next Thursday, we'll be recording or producing a series of back to basic videos for our customer base that describes how to use a lot of our standard modules in CCLAS. So all of our current customer will see an email towards the end of the month that will give you access to those videos as we do them each week. Okay, so thanks everyone for your time and attention, and we'll end the webinar here. Thank you.